cooking up the visual effects, we can all march over there across the Bay Bridge and tell them, hey, we need more photorealism out of those Moto Terminators, goddammit. And perhaps we will. But why don't we turn it back over to Jeff for a few more questions. Mr. Schwarzenegger, how are you feeling thus far?
Feeling fantastic. The movie is looking fantastic. It has a very menacing feeling. I feel like the movie is going to ram its fist into my stomach and break my goddamn spine.
An excellent note. Jeff, back to you.
Well, actually, I was going to ask you a question. You know, it's interesting the different evolution, the different models. Tell us about some of the different Terminators in the movie. I mean, there's the one in the water. There's obviously the motorcycle ones. Tell us a little bit about some of the hardware.
Indeed, one of the things we wanted to do was talk about the coming of the T-800. You hear Michael Bihn's character, Kyle Reese, in the first one talk about the T-600s were easy to spot, the rubber skin, we saw them coming a mile away, and it wasn't until the advent of the T-800, the model made famous by Arnold Schwarzenegger, that the resistance was having real difficulty telling who was a machine and who was a person. And just like a computer that starts big and bulky and only has 2 megs of RAM and a really slow video card, they evolved to a place where they've got terabytes and incredible graphics, and they're lighter than ever, and the battery lasts longer than ever. And that's the same with Skynet. Skynet had to go through a lot of machines to get to that T-800, so naturally they're patrolling the water with the Hyderbots. They're all over the roads with the Moto Terminators. They've got the harvesters that are going out and collecting people to rip the stem cells out of the back of their neck so they can do the research necessary to create a realistic-looking human Terminator in the T-800. We have transports that are reminiscent of the very first frame that changed my life, Star Wars, cruiser coming over your head, and those are the transports in this Terminator picture. And of course we have the T-1s and several other machines along the way, but I thought it would be interesting to look at that space between, which was really the thrust and the reason to make the movie.
It's interesting. And Carmen, why don't you tell us a little bit about this cast, this ensemble, the people that you've worked with, and maybe some of the things that they brought to the movie?
Well, first I would like to say it was definitely an honor to work with each and every person on the cast and to work with McG. And I think this cast really represents where we are in America and where we are in the world. It's multicultural. You have people from different ethnic backgrounds. And I looked at this movie and I'm like, you know, from McG and I talking about it to me reading the script and just what was going on the set, it became more than just an action movie for me. It had layers of humanity to it, and it really, you know, made me start thinking about like how important human life is. And it's good to know that we are at this place in America where we're starting to look past, you know, racial barriers and sexual preferences. And I think religious backgrounds. And I think that the Terminator is actually a symbol and a representation of that because, you know, it's including everybody. We're fighting against the machine. It's only one machine out there, and no matter what color you are, how much money you had or whatever, we got to fight. So it was a spiritual fight, a physical fight, and I love being a part of that. And this cast, you know, embodied all that.